Hello, today we are going to explain about the hypothalamus, the pituitary, and the ovary. And we are going to find out the relationship between the hypothalamus and the pituitary and the
Where's
control
the
of these
pituitary
two on
located?
the
It
ovary.
starts first in the brain,
Located in the brain in a place called hypothalamus. Now, the hypothalamus contains neurons, and these neurons they are connected to the pituitary to a duct called pituitary duct. And this pituitary duct, it contains a substance called GnRH, which is secreted by the neurons in the hypothalamus. What is GnRH? It is a gonadotropin releasing hormone. It is secreted by neurons to blood, so that's why it's called neurohormone. And it controls the secretion of the pituitary hormone. Now, what are the pituitary hormone? Pituitary hormone in eثنين. Here there are two hormones that affects the ovaries, and these hormones, we call them gonadotropin stimulating hormones or gonadotropic hormones. They affect the ovaries and they are luteinizing hormone and follicular stimulating hormone. Now, let's make an experiment about the effect of the pituitary on the ovaries. Now, we take a mouse here. There is cyclic development of the ovaries, uterus, and vagina if we kept the pituitary without any change. But if we removed it, we have an atrophy destruction للأوفريز وما في عنا cyclic activity يعني ما في period ولا في development of endometrium ولا شيء. Now if we regraft it, if we removed it and then graft it in the area, the pituitary area بمطرحها يعني, we have restoration of this ovarian cyclic يعني صار في estrogen progesterone صار في أكيد uterine cycle. Now, so we conclude that the anterior pituitary controls development of the ovaries with cyclic activity secretion يعني of progesterone or estrogen through substance secreted to blood. So هيدا بنسميه هال communication hormonal communication وهو non autonomous كيف secrete differently. ما شفتوا هون شايفين هون فعندنا شيء اسمه follicular phase, عندنا early follicular phase وعندنا late follicular phase. بالearly follicular phase amount of estrogen والبروجستيرون البروجستيرون zero amount of estrogen قليل كتير يعني تقريبا هون جاي حوالي 25 ل 50 بيكو جرام per milliliter. الامount of LH and FSH كمان قليلة منا كتيرة. FSH 6 around 6 وال LH around 2. Now إذا جينا على late follicular phase يعني تقريبا على day 12 we're going to find out إنه ال LH increased sharply and FSH increased to a peak يعني increased منيح. After the follicular phase فعنا luteal phase أكيد. luteal phase it's characterized by progesterone. هيدا البروجستيرون بيخلينا pituitary hormones زيرو ما في عنا pituitary hormones قليل نزلوا تقريبا. This shows that there is synchronization between the pituitary hormones and the ovarian hormones. So إذا في عنا بالfollicular phase low estrogen ما بيكون في عنا نحن surge بال LH وال FSH. بس كيف عنا high estrogen بصير في عنا LH and FSH. هلا بالنسبة للجونادوتروبيك هرمون هن سايكليك مع الاوفارين هرمون go in parallel يعني السynchronization هي identical. That's why we call it they go along with each other. Now بهاي الاكسبيرمنت بنشوف الeffect of hypothalamus على البيتويتري. As you see من first one في عنا stop secretion of LH and FSH لما يكون في عنا destruction للneurons. This shows that hypothalamic neurons responsible for secreting pituitary hormones. Now, in هاي experiment it confirms the first one لأنه بس نعمل stimulation لو نيورونز عم بصير في عنا increase a lot of FSH دغري يعني FSH and LH. Now لما عملنا لها disconnection للhypothalamus من pituitary صار في عنا stop of the secretion of LH and FSH. This shows إنه they are connected through together through a duct. When we took blood from this duct, okay, from this connection and we analyze it لقينا إنه في مادة اسمها GnRH. هالمادة هيدي موجودة بالدكت بالبلاد vessels اللي موجودين حول البيتويتري. So this shows that there is chemical control of the hypothalamus على البيتويتري to secrete its hormonal secretions. Now بهيدا experiment عملنا effect what we find the effect what find the effect of hypothalamus on the pituitary. عملنا lesion يعني جرحنا الهايبوثالاموس بالposterior part ما هودي النيورونز موجودين affecting the excretion of LH and FSH بالpituitary. صار في عنا هون appropriate يعني دغري sharp decrease of LH وكمان FSH هون بعد نهار هون بعد نهارين بعدين على 6 أيام صار في عنا زيرو. So this means that the hypothalamus, the posterior part, controls the secretion of pituitary hormones. طب كيف؟ هل هو بفرز دايما على طول أو في عنا non-autonomous manner in its secretion؟ بنشوف هون في عنا lesion بالhypothalamus بهيدي experiment بهي female monkey عملنا lesion عملنا discontinuous secretion injection of GnRH وعندنا continuous injections. بالdiscontinuous صار في عنا increase in FSH and LH بينما بالcontinuous يعني دايما بس أعطيناه على GnRH كان عم ينزل FSH وال LH. This shows that the posterior part اللي فيه هول neurons secrete GnRH in a discontinuous manner to activate the secretion of the pituitary hormones. Thank you. هلا في عنا أكيد هون schematic drawing الhypothalamus and this secretes the hypothalamus GnRH and this GnRH affects the gland. هذه الجلاند هيدي pituitary gland بتعطي FSH اللي stimulates the follicle وال LH اللي بيعمل ovulation أكيد و transformation of graphene follicle into corpus luteum. في عنا receptors على الأوفريز بياخدوا هودي الهرمونز وبيفرزوا الأوفريان هرمونز اللي هن استروجين and progesterone على اليوترس هون في receptors لهودي 2 هرمونز وهو بيصير في period.